Hey guys, I'm Chris, the IELTS expert, and I'm back with Fiona, the wonderful producer of our videos, who's going to be asking some difficult questions to me from part 1 of the speaking test. Hi Fiona.
Hi everybody.
Do you have some difficult questions for me?
I have a strange topic, I suppose.
Well, remember that in the IELTS test you could have any topic, and I remember when I took the test they asked me about the topic of the sky. We're not talking about the sky today, are we?
No, we're going to talk about numbers.
Numbers. Common topic that has appeared recently. I've had a few students contact me to say that the topic numbers has appeared. If you are one of those students and that you have taken the test recently but maybe didn't get the score, write about the type of questions that you got in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you do like it. Should we start?
All right, my first question is, are you any good with numbers?
I love numbers. My brain seems to work in a way that tends to be more favourable towards numbers rather than writing. When I was at school, I really enjoyed maths and was part of a maths competition. Nowadays, I seem to look at numbers, so if I'm on the street or in a car, I tend to see the numbers on a number plate or on a sign, and I usually find some code in it. It's pretty interesting.
Great answer. Thank you. You
What did
know,
I say?
you said a number of things that were, number of words that were very interesting, but the thing that stood out for me was quite a complex grammatical structure, which I hope, hopefully isn't too difficult to explain. But you said, my brain works in a way that tends to be favourable towards numbers. Can you say that in another way? What does that mean?
Sure. So that's the phrase written down, so you'll be able to see that on the screen. Let's break it down and think about how you could create something like this in English. So the verb in this is works. It works in a way. Now, I made it a more complex sentence by using the word tends. So it tends to be favourable towards numbers. To be favourable towards something means that maybe you can help me out here, Fiona. So to be favourable towards...
It means it likes numbers, I think.
Yes, good answer.
It works well with numbers.
Yes, and tends to be would be it's often. So my brain works in a way that is often, it likes numbers. It's a complex sentence, and remember in the exam, the examiner's listening out for complex grammatical structures. Now, if you can't do something like this, not a problem. Try to think about subordination of your sentences. Maybe have two verbs. In this case, there's works and tends to. So that would be subordination, where one set part of the sentence depends on the other. Quite tricky. You need to listen. You need to think, how could I do something similar in the exam? If you can't do exactly this, no problem. Try to push yourself though.
That was a very, very high level sentence, that one, I think. Very good. Okay, my next question is, how are numbers important in your life?
I think numbers are important in everybody's life, but in mine in particular, I think about numbers with my pay. So if I go to work, I have numbers which come through the amount of tax that I pay. Numbers would be on an everyday situation where I make a telephone call, or if I have to call a new customer, or if I have to speak to a student, then I would need to use numbers in that case. Numbers are on my alarm clock in the morning when I wake up. I have to type in the number before I go to bed so that I wake up on time and then I'm not late for any meetings that I have the next day. How are numbers important to you?
Gosh, yes, use them every day. Let me think if I can think of another example. How about the speed limit when I'm driving?
Ah, yes. Do you obey the speed limit? Let's talk about that. The speed limit. To obey means to follow the rules. Do you obey the speed limit? If you're driving, maybe you're not old enough to drive, but do your parents or do your family members obey the speed limit? You could also say follow the speed limit, but obey is a better word. Fiona, honestly, do you obey the speed limit?
I do try very hard to be honest.
Have you ever had a speeding ticket?
Once.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm pretty old. I've been driving for a long time.
Oh.
I'm pretty good.
Speed tickets here in this country are quite expensive, aren't they? So
that's why.
Yeah. It's another number that comes through the door that you're not happy about. If you ever saw a speed ticket, you'd have a number that you wouldn't be very happy about. Good. and the question?
Oh, I just wanted to
Oh,
comment
yeah.
that I thought it was really good that you immediately just thought of as many examples as possible where you use numbers in your life. You mentioned your pay, tax, telephone calls. For you in particular, if you have a new customer or a student, your alarm clock. So there's all sorts of ways you expanded on your answer. The question was, are they important, or how are they important?
The question was how they're important. Remember, in the exam, actually you don't need to answer the question properly. It's a common myth in the IELTS exam. If you miss part of the question, it's not the end of the world. Let me just go back to that one. An alarm clock. Did you know, Fiona, that I'm sure you do know, that the verb in English is to set your alarm clock. So before going to bed, I set my alarm clock, and that's useful for you guys. Yes, I agree. In the exam, you need to give as many examples as you can. It's about thinking on your feet, and that's quite a difficult task for many of you. You need to be able to think of an idea very quickly. I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm able to think of lots of ideas, but I do realise that for many of you it's quite tricky.
All right, last question on the topic of numbers. Do you have a favourite number?
I'd have to say that I don't. I do have many numbers which I like. Number 4, I'm born on the 4th of January, so 4 is quite an important number to me. The number 1, because January is the first month of the year. And the number 10, because the number 10 it signifies, how can I say it? Signifies the
End of a decade?
End of a decade, and also it's, I like logic and order, and then the number 10 fits into so many things. You know, it's 10 times 10 is 100, and we use this for centimetres, for millilitres, all of these words with a 0 ending. For me, they're very logical. So I don't have a favourite number, but I do like some particular numbers.
That was a great answer.
What's your favourite number?
My favourite number's always been 2, and also 13. I don't know why I like 2, but 13 is my date of birth.
Can I just explain to the students that in English we have odd numbers and even numbers. Maybe you don't know about this, but odd numbers are the 1, 3, 5, 7, and even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8. So do you guys prefer odd numbers or even numbers? Personally, I don't mind, but if you go to a casino, for example, and I'm not saying that you should go and gamble, but on the roulette table you often have the red and the black numbers. Red, I think, are even and black are odd. Yeah, many people don't know the words odd and even. Which do you prefer, odds or evens?
Evens. You like odds, don't you?
Any more questions for me?
That's the last question, but I did have a comment about your answer there, which I thought was great because, you know, I think it's difficult to come up with things when you're talking about numbers. You were very fluent, so you just came up with as many ideas as you could just to keep talking, to keep it interesting, and that was great, and that's a big part of the challenge, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So if you, let me just write that down. If you know about the band descriptors in the IELTS test, part of your mark, 25%, comes from fluency and coherence. That's your ability to keep talking and not stop. It's your ability to expand on answers and to make sense. Really focus on giving lots of examples during the test, even if they're not true. If you're done, I'm done. Thank you very much for watching. This topic today was numbers, a very common topic. It's February 2020. We've had lots of students say that in January this topic came up. Be prepared for it if you're taking the test soon. My name is Chris, the IELTS expert. I've been here with Fiona.
Bye-bye.
And I'll see you all soon.